again, and welcome to the Special Electricity Subcommittee meeting number 236, held today, the 11th of February 2025. My name is Nomfundo Maseti. I am the chairperson of the ELS and the member primarily responsible for piped gas. With me today, I have the chairperson of the energy regulator, Mr. Tembani Pukula. I would like Mr. Pukula to greet so that you can recognize his voice when he speaks.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning, everyone. And thanks once again, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. I will now introduce Mr. Muzuvukile Mkhize, who is the member primarily responsible for petroleum pipelines, as well as the member of the electricity subcommittee. Mr. Mkhize, may you please do your greetings?
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and greetings to all in attendance, as well as the members of the public that are following us through the various live streaming platforms. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would now introduce Ms. Tembeka Semane, who is the member of the electricity subcommittee, the chairperson of the finance committee at NERSA, and the member of other committees at the energy regulator. Ms. Semane.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson, and good morning to everyone. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I would like to now introduce Advocate Nomalanga Sithole, who is the CEO at NERSA, the member of the electricity subcommittee and the various committees at NERSA. Advocate Sithole, may you please do the greetings?
Chairperson, members, and all those who have joined us for this meeting, thank you.
Thank you very much. Right, members, we have a proposed agenda, and for the open meeting, we have one item being the application by ESCOM for the retail tariff plan. I would like members to raise their hands if they adopt the proposed agenda or approve the proposed agenda. Mr. Mabunda, if you can also assist me with the hands. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Thank you, Ms. Semane. I also support the proposed agenda. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Thank you, Advocate Sithole. Thank you, members, for the approval. Members, there are forms for the declaration of interest. If you can kindly remember to complete the forms and submit them to Mr. Walter Mabunda for the record. And if there is any matter that the members would like to declare their interest by exception, verbal declaration for the item, by show of hands, members. It seems there is none. With that, members, I would like to take you to the substantive agenda item that we have for the decision today. And the item is the ESCOM's application for retail tariff plan. If you can kindly introduce the matter, Mr. Mkhize Jr., as well as Mr. Sithole.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning, Chairperson, members on the call, the staff, as well as management, and those who are following us through various social media platforms. Chairperson, I will introduce as well as attempt to present the submission so that members are appraised regarding this application. Chairperson, this is an application from ESCOM, which was received by the energy regulator on the 18th of September 2024. It is a ESCOM retail tariff plan for the years 2025 to 2026, which outlines proposals that ESCOM seeks to make for approval, and the aim of this, Chairperson, is to update tariff structures based on the 2024-25 cost to serve study. Chairperson, maybe just jumping straight to the proposed changes, ESCOM is proposing to amend or adjust the time of use periods and rates, including reducing the morning peak as well as increasing the evening peak. The next one, Chairperson, is the municipal tariff rationalization. I will go into a bit detail, but I just wanted to outline the changes that are in the application, Chairperson. So under the municipal tariff rationalization, there is the consolidation of 15 municipal tariffs into 3 categories, and that is Munich Flex, Munich Rate, as well as the public lighting. Then there's the residential tariffs, which is introducing the cost-reflective network and retail charges, as well as the removal of the inclining block tariff structure, Chairperson. Then there's the unbundling of energy charges, which is introducing a fixed generation capacity charge, as well as a legacy charge, Chairperson. Of course, the legacy charge is associated with the Section 34 IPPs that will remain. Those contracts will remain, and they will need to be served even once the market has been introduced. Then, Chairperson, there's the network charges, which will be split into fixed and variable components. And then lastly, the service charges, which is to convert charges based on the number of points of delivery rather than per account, which is the case at the moment. Just in terms of the impact of the proposed changes, Chairperson, the proposed changes aim to ensure cost reflectivity. They aim to also ensure that costs are adequately recovered while still ensuring transparency and fairness in tariff structures. The removal of IBTs is intended to address the issue of affordability as well as fairness, particularly for low-income customers. In particular, Chairperson, this inclined block tariff structure was introduced to cushion the poor from the high cost of electricity. However, currently it has had unintended consequences of subsidizing those with rooftop solar, in a sense that they tend to use less energy in terms of volumes, which then means that they are at the lower end and therefore they end up benefiting. While for low-income consumers, they just find that they are paying more and more every time they buy electricity during the month. And so we do support this amendment, Chairperson. And then, of course, there's the introduction of new charges and the rationalization of tariffs, which are expected to impact different customer categories differently, with some who will see some increases and others who will see some decreases in their bills. Chairperson, stakeholders also commented on the application as a public hearing was conducted to receive comments from various stakeholders. Subvia was one of the stakeholders that was very much vocal. They did support some of the proposals, while some were not supported. In terms of recommendations, Chairperson, we recommend the approval of the proposed changes with some conditions in place, and particularly that is to phase in certain charges over at least 3 years in order to mitigate the impact on low-use customers, and to also ensure continued monitoring and reporting by Eskom on revenue recovery as well as expenditure. Maybe just in terms of the impact on municipal tariffs, Chairperson, most customers will be seeing a reduction in their charges. Perhaps I will just indicate that mostly the increase will affect public lighting at about 23.7%, as well as in terms of the rural flex, which will see an impact of about 6.5%, but the rest are largely seeing a decrease, Chairperson. Chairperson, with that, I will take you to section 14 of the submission and request that these proposed changes be approved by the ELS Chairperson. With that, thank you, Chairperson. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Kize Jr. For the presentation. I would like to now invite the members of the subcommittee to raise their hands if they have questions of clarity, as well as issues that they would like to guide or some enhancements that they would like to propose. By show of hands, members, if you have. Are members happy? Shall we then go to the decision? Okay. Oh, Mr. Pukula.
Chairperson, I think there's the matter of the generation capacity charge, but I'm trying to look at how we have structured the RFD. I actually don't see the part that really gets into the effect that there's the approval in principle, but the amount that's being approved has got to be a certain percentage of what was applied for. I don't see it in this. If the colleagues can just, I mean, I'm on page 11 of 51 of the RFD. I'm not seeing it.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Can you? Okay. In the meantime, the team, can you please get to that part and remember those points that the members have already provided guidance on. So please get to that part of the RFDs so that when we come back, you can be able to point out that relevant part, and also we can then make sure that it is worded and crafted appropriately. Mr. Mkize Senior, the member.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'd just like to know concerning these other point of supply charges, the change to charging per point of supply, to say if the resultant increase is higher, is there any way of mitigating that? What is foreseen? I'm saying that yes, it could be for valid and justifiable reasons, but the increase could result in some financial hardship or a sudden spike in an increase in electricity. And what just want to get the team's comment or reflection around that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mkize, for that question. Tim, again, if you can kindly answer the question by also pointing out areas in this application that could offset the quantum of that increase when it comes to the charging of individual points of delivery. If you can point that out in your answer, in the way that you are framing your answer. Can I then hand over to you to respond to the questions?
Thank you, Chairperson. I will just touch briefly on the GCC, and then I will allow the team to come in on the other questions.
Full name. Please, full name. There are members of the public that are following the discussions. So the GCC, you're not stating what it is?
It is the generation capacity charge, Chairperson. It is mentioned in the RFD on various pages, but I'm looking in particular at page 43, which talks about the key points regarding the generation capacity charge. Chairperson, this charge is intended to ensure...
Chairperson, may I come in point of order, Chairperson? I am not asking
Yes.
about the charge. What I'm saying is when you look at the decision, and in particular, if I go to the part that talks about unbundled tariffs, it says we are approving the introduction of that. And from this, it will mean that we are approving everything that ESCOM has requested. But the request is that it is not everything. In the first year, it is going to be 20% of what ESCOM has applied for. And that's what I really would like us to flesh out in the decision. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pukula. Can we get another colleague to please come in? Brian, you're also there as the HOD. Can we reflect on what the members have discussed so that you can deal with that issue of the capacity charge, generation capacity charge, and the principles that the members during the workshops have considered, one of them being affordability, because it is a fixed charge, but also understanding the principle that the fixed cost must be recovered so that they do not compromise the revenue that is required by the utility. So can you please respond to that and provide the guidance or talk about what's going to happen in the first year, balancing the sustainability and the need to recover fixed cost, and also to balance that with affordability. First year, second year, and third year, please.
Chairperson, I've been quiet only for one reason, Chairperson. I've got tonsillitis. So, but Chairperson, when coming to the point of the generation capacity charge, we have actually considered the decision on the MYPD, the 12.74 decision, coming to 6 and 5% in the following years. So what we are saying, Chairperson, is that in the first year, let us think about that 12% and cushion that amount to only 20 rands. And then in the following year, considering that in that year, we are now going towards inflation rated increases, we can then go up to that 30 rands that is required. So, Chairperson, that is what we are proposing. Thanks, Chairperson.
Okay, let me check with the member if that answer clarifies the question. Mr. Pukula?
Chairperson, I think Charles was going to even come in and clarify. I think we are saying it's a percentage, not the quantum, because that's still something to be calculated, but it's 20% of what ESCOM has asked for, which may equate to the number that Brian had indicated in the first year. And in the second year, we make it go to the third of the number that ESCOM had applied for. Charles, if you may assist me in the packaging, but I think that's what we had. That's the discussion, and I think I'm not too far from it.
Chair,
with your permission, Chairperson.
Yes, that is in order. And Charles, please put some perspective in terms of what that means in terms of ESCOM's revenue. If we can put that into perspective so that everyone that is listening and following our discussions can get clarity on what we are talking about. Thank you.
Chair, I apologize. There was supposed to be a revision that would be tabled in this decision, and the decision should read: NERSA approves the introduction of a fixed generation capacity charge in principle, but the current level introduces too high a step change for the below average users. Therefore, the allocation must be reduced to 20% of the current level in the first year, and it can go up to 30% in the second year. Thank you, Chair. In terms of the context, ESCOM applied for 7% of the total generation fixed charges to be taken out of because ESCOM at the moment, the generation the generation charges in total are variable charges, and they need to be separated out because of the introduction of market forces that is going to come about. So they did apply for 23% of the generation charges before, but that was deemed to be too high and was rejected. But this time round, they've applied for 7%, which is in fact 18% of their fixed charges, in actual fact, for the generation capacity. And we are saying that this, when we looked at it, the step change, especially for the home power customers, for the below average users, is far too high. The impact is far too great. So from an affordability point of view, instead of allowing it at the level that they have produced, we are asking them to have it at a level of 20% of the current level which they have proposed. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I think Charles has given the perspective and what it really means, and why the energy regulator would not approve the amount that Eskom is requesting, but in principle it will allow the introduction of the generation capacity charge. Members, any question? I think there is a question by Mr. Mkhize, the member, regarding the cushioning for those municipalities that may experience a substantial increase as a result of charges per point of delivery, as opposed to per account. May you please provide a response? We also guided also in terms of how to offset such increase. May we get a succinct answer there? Mr. Sichotlo. Brian, please unmute yourself.
Sorry, Chairperson, I was speaking to a muted mic. Chairperson, when you look at the RTP, the retail tariff plan of Eskom, actually we're looking at the whole package. So, Chairperson, the presentation by City Power indicated that they'll be seeing a 29% increase. However, there is also other cushioning things that have been introduced or proposed by Eskom. For instance, there is the rationalization of municipal tariffs into 3 from the 15 that has always been applied. So those rationalizations are in effect actually meaning that municipal tariffs will be going down instead of the ones that they've been paying under the night safe. So that is the cushion. But then you net it off, and then it becomes that that 29% that City Power is talking about will actually be cushioned by the introduction of this rationalization of those tariffs, Chairperson.
Okay, Mr. Mkhize, the member, are you happy with the clarification, the response in terms of the impact that you were concerned about? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Are there any questions from the members before we go to the decision that is sought? All right, if there are no questions, members, I would like to take you to paragraph 14 of the covering submission in terms of the decision that is required from the subcommittee today. Members, subject to the refinements in terms of how the reasons for allowing the generation capacity charge as supported in the electricity pricing policy number 27. And in addition to that, the principle of ensuring that Eskom recovers its fixed charges or fixed costs, but also making sure that in as much as we take the interest of Eskom in terms of ensuring fixed cost recovery, it's important for the energy regulator to make sure that it balances the interest of other stakeholders, including customers. And the principle of affordability must be taken into consideration. As a result of that, the energy regulator will not allow the full amount that Eskom has requested, but it will be increased gradually until it gets to we get to the point that is reasonable and that is affordable, and that will allow Eskom to recover the necessary revenue and the fixed cost associated with the generation. Now, having said that, members, I would like to read out the first decision that is required, and I will read them one by one, members, just to make sure that they are talking to what we want to approve. The first one, it is recommended that the electricity subcommittee recommends to the energy regulator to approve the decision and the reasons for decision attached here too as Annexure 1 with the following conditions. Eskom will ring fence the revenue recovered from the sale of electricity that are meant to accrue the 3 licensed activities. Members, this is taking into account that the points that were read out with regards to time of use and all of the other changes that were proposed are approved, but subject to these conditions. Are members happy with the framing of the first decision that is thought? If I may read maybe just 4.1.1.1. One of the conditions is that 28% of all revenue for the MYPD6 period transferred to and recognized as such in the accounts of the National Transmission Company of South Africa, NTCSA. Secondly, 62% to Eskom generation. Thirdly, the revenue of 10% to Eskom distribution. Can I pause there, members, in terms of the first part? By show of hands, members, if you agree. Thank you, Mr. Pukula. Thank you, Mr. Mkize. Thank you, Ms. Semane. I also support Advocate Sithole. Are you happy to support the first part of the decision? Thank you very much. The second decision that is required is that Eskom will report quarterly to the energy regulator on revenue recovered from the sale of electricity and accruing to Eskom generation and distribution, and revenues transferred to NTCSA with accounting records. By show of hands, members, if you agree. Thank you, Mr. Mkize. Thank you, Ms. Semane. Thank you, Advocate Sithole. Mr. Pukula, are you happy to support?
Chairperson, this is part of what the MYPD requires us, the rules and the methodology requires us to do. So I'm not supporting because I mean, it's our decision. So I don't know how to put it. We're supposed to do this anyway. So I'm not sure when we say we must have it as a decision again, what we're, but I'm happy if the other colleagues support. Thank you.
Colleagues, do you want to reconsider or are you happy? You're still happy to approve that one? The point here is that those are reports that will still come. I think the first part of the decision will cover the issue that we are trying to deal with, which is the inconsistencies in the apportionment of the revenues for generation, for transmission, and for distribution. So the first decision covers that, and we'll be able to monitor that. Now, the second part, the issue is that these quarterly reports will, in any event, be provided to the energy regulator, and we must require them. And secondly, we have also made that decision in the MYPD6. With that, members, would you like to reconsider? Must I take it that members are still happy to maintain their approval? Members, can you please respond? Still happy to maintain?
Yes, Madam Chairperson.
Yes. Ms. Semane, please. Go ahead.
It's a yes from my side, yes.
Okay. Advocate Sithole?
Yes, Chairperson, I do support the approval.
Okay. Mr. Mkhize? Support the approval. Okay. All right. The majority then supports the approval. Then we move on to the next decision that is sought, which is that Eskom and NTCSA are prohibited from transferring any revenues and utilizing any revenues for any purpose other than that approved by the energy regulator in the MYPD6 decision, and any deviation from the apportionment of approved MYPD allowable revenues in terms of what is already stated in paragraph 14.1.1.1 above is prohibited without a written approval of the energy regulator. Members, are you happy with this part of the decision? I see other two hands. Mr. Mkhize, let me find out, because
May please just recap it for me, please?
I think we are introducing a different standard here, which is the prohibition. Eskom and NTCSA are prohibited. I think it's also a repetition because this is a matter of enforcement now that we are applying our minds to it. This is the matter of enforcement. So we are doing an upfront prohibition as opposed to say that they are prevented. And in any event, in the earlier decisions, we have already indicated that they are not allowed to transfer. So on this one, I think it's a repetition to start off with, and also now it's we're doing an upfront prohibition. We are saying Eskom and NTCSA are prohibited from transferring any revenues or utilizing any revenues for any purpose other than that approved by the energy regulator in the MYPD 6 allowable revenue decision, and any deviation from the apportionment of approved MYPD 6 allowable revenues in terms of paragraph 14.1.1.1 above is prohibited without first obtaining written approval of the energy regulator. The question is, I think, let me check first if the members are comfortable. Mr. Mkhize, are you comfortable with that decision?
I just want to check, Chairperson, isn't that a standard requirement in any event? Maybe putting it here would be like where it is not appearing, it will then be exonerating them from doing same.
Okay.
Just this is where my concern is.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Mr. Bukula?
Chair, my understanding, Chair, is that this is a condition of the MYD. I'm not opposed for the sake of the meeting to go ahead. I'm not opposed to us repeating it, but I suspect that to want to approve it again when it's already approved is a bit of an overkill. But I mean, emphasizing it, I'm not opposed to that.
Thank you. Advocate Sithole, your views?
Chairperson, I'm fine with the insertion or the recommendation, as it's really meant to emphasize the decision that we have made, and hence we have also linked it to 14.1.1.1 above. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much. Ms. Semane, are you? Can you please state your views for inserting this one?
I'm very happy, Madam Chair, that we be evangelical about it. I say no harm. I support it. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Let's then go to the vote, members, just to see if members are all aligned then in terms of this. From my side, yes, it is here because I couldn't take it out, but I also wanted to make sure that these things will take place. But from my side, it is a matter of monitoring and also monitoring of how ESCOM will and the NTSA will be implementing the decision. And it is for us to make sure that we will be able to do this. I was also just maybe the prohibition part, it may mean something else, but I'm indifferent in terms of what we can take. Let me check, then put it on a vote and see if members, if it stands. Okay, let me see. Members, are you in support of the last recommendation? Thank you, Advocate Sitole. Thank you, Ms. Semane. Let me see if other members.
I'm indifferent, but if then the insistence, just to emphasize, I think we can carry it along. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mkize. Mr. Pukula, happy or
I hold
not?
the same view as Mr. Mkize, but I've made for the progress of the meeting. Yeah, let's carry it
Let's
along.
carry it.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. The last then decision part carries, so it is accepted by the members. Thank you very much, members. That is the last decision that is sought. And at this point in time, the matter will then be taken to the energy regulator for the final decision. The committee is simply recommending to the energy regulator. And then I would like to now close the open meeting, and so that we can consider governance matters. I would like to thank all the stakeholders that have been observing the discussions during this open part of the meeting. Thank you very much. The meeting is now closed for the members of the public. Please inform me with regards to the